I know you've been asking for this for a while now, but it's finally here because we just got them. But today we're taking a look at the 6-0 Double Black Diamond, finally. Hey everybody, it's Luca from Rackets Runners. I know it took us a really long time to secure our 6-0 orders, but now that we finally got them, it's time for a review. Now right off the bat, it's obvious that the pickleball industry already knows a lot about this paddle. It's one of the most popular paddles out there because 6-0 was one of the first companies to come up with this really cool hybrid shape in a thermoformed unibody package. Obviously, one of our best sellers, the Vatic Pro Flash, is very similar to the Double Black Diamond, and while we haven't technically done a review of this paddle yet, we've mentioned it in a lot of videos, so I'll be doing a lot of comparison between these two during this review. Of course, as usual, before we go on, remember that any of the paddles we mention here you can check out on our website, racketsandrunners.ca. And please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comment section what you want me to cover next. On to some specs though. The Double Black Diamond has that hybrid 16.3 inch length with a 5.3 inch handle. It weighs 8.1 ounces and has a Japanese Toray T700 carbon top sheet. In case there's any confusion between the Double Black Diamond here and the Single Black Diamond, this one is for experts only and the Single Black Diamond is for advanced players. Just kidding. And if that joke went over your head, I'm sorry, it's a skiing reference. Almost ski season though. But anyways, the actual difference between the two is that the Double Black Diamond has a carbon fiber top sheet and the Single Black Diamond a fiberglass top sheet, which is going to be very interesting to try because I've always liked the feel of fiberglass, but obviously the carbon top sheet was always going to be the more popular paddle. Now we're going to get into more specific playability here in a second, but I did just want to say that there's a reason why the Double Black Diamond and the Flashes are so popular. This shape in a thermoform unibody package is genius for many reasons, starting with spin. At this point, we know the drill with thermoform unibody paddles in terms of spin. They are simply the most spin friendly, and the Double Black Diamond is yet another paddle that backs that up. The firm feel on pocketing that you get with thermoform paddles leads to the least amount of energy lost on contact. So as long as you're hitting with proper spinny technique, you'll get plenty of spin potential with this paddle. Here's the thing with this hybrid shape though. It's so quick and easy to whip through contact that you can produce more paddle head speed than you could with an extended paddle at the same weight. That means that for most players, the Double Black Diamond is going to produce more spin than the V7, the Perseus, the Model E Elite, whatever other extended thermoform paddle you can think of, because it's easier to generate spin here. I absolutely loved this sensation because it got to a point where if I was backed into a situation where I couldn't take a full swing at the ball, I would just whip that paddle head through contact and I'd produce the same dipping passing shot that I'd usually need more proper preparation to hit. The only situation where an extended paddle has more spin is when you have time to prepare a full-on ground stroke and on serve. Extended paddles do have more leverage over the ball, so technically more spin in that sense, but you have to take a full swing at the ball to access that spin potential, which isn't always possible on a pickleball court. Now, whether or not the Double Black Diamond has more spin than the Flash is really neither here nor there because the difference is so marginal that you probably won't notice it unless you're actively looking for it. As a paddle reviewer, obviously, I was looking for it, and I think I have to say the Flash is a tiny bit more spin friendly, but honestly, the difference is so marginal, I wouldn't let that sway you in either direction. This right here is why I think these hybrid paddles are the future of pickleball, and that's because their maneuverability to stability ratio is off the charts good. The Double Black Diamond is obviously shorter than extended paddles, and you definitely feel that from a hand speed and maneuverability perspective. Like I just said, they're easier to whip through contact, but they're also quicker to react at the net. Hand paddles are a dream with this paddle. Yes, it might be a tiny bit slower than standard length paddles, but it does feel closer in hand speed to those than it does extended ones. The thing is, stability and plow through feels closer to extended paddles. So basically this shape has managed to hit the perfect balance of stability and maneuverability compared to the other shapes. It really is impressive, but it's not totally without its flaws. Fair warning, it does take a little bit of time to adapt to the unique swing pattern if you're coming from either an extended or a standard length paddle. I've said it a few times on this channel that I mainly use extended paddles because they work better for my game, and I still feel more confidence going for big shots with something 16.5 inches long, but it is only a matter of time until I get used to the shape. Reach is one small area where I think these will always suffer compared to extended length paddles though. It might not seem like a lot, but I do think those 0.2 inches do make a difference. This might be more placebo or in my head or whatever, but there were some times where I felt like I should be making clean contact and the ball was hitting the edge guard. It might be something that goes away with time, but maybe not. One area where this swing pattern felt instantly perfect though was on roll volleys. That's a volley type that's becoming extremely important in pickleball, and the Double Black Diamond complements it perfectly. You can flick the paddle at the ball really easily, and there were definitely some times where I was digging out some balls that I never would have gotten to with my usual extended paddles. The double black diamond is a thermoformed unibody paddle, so it's not going to be the best for control out there, but at 16 millimeters thick, it is noticeably softer than some thinner thermoform paddles. Also, comparing it directly to the Flash, it does feel a little bit plusher and the sweet spot is noticeably bigger on the double black diamond. The Flash definitely feels a little bit more raw. I think it just comes down to the stabilizing and sweet spot technology on the double black diamond being a little bit more advanced. These are minute differences though, again, something you're really only going to notice if you're actively looking for it. Now, I did find that for dinking and resets, I preferred this hybrid shape to an extended length paddle. The paddle face is a little bit wider, so the sweet spot's slightly more forgiving, and again, because the paddle's more maneuverable, it's just a little bit easier to manage through that motion. It's also a fantastic paddle for deception at the net. Because it's so maneuverable, you can feign one way and then really quickly change direction at the last second. So for cat and mouse play around the net, if you can handle the slightly launchy response, it's absolutely elite. Power is where you'd think a 16.3-inch paddle would suffer compared to something extended, and to a certain extent that's true, but if somebody tests this paddle out and comes to the conclusion that it's not powerful enough, then I really don't know what to say. Power is top tier on the double black diamond. I don't care that it might be slightly less powerful than something like the V7 or the Model E Elite. You simply don't need more power than what you get here. I really don't have much else to say about the power. You'll never feel like you need more than what you get here unless you're absolutely addicted to extended thermoform paddles. It's as simple as that. My absolute favorite thing about the double black diamond is just how customizable it is. This shape and weight provides the perfect platform to tailor a paddle exactly to your needs. I've mentioned that swing pattern is a little bit weird at first if you're used to extended length paddles, and for those of you that feel the same way, you have two options. One, get used to it, or two, add lead to the paddle to try to make it swing more like an extended paddle. To do that, add lead to the top of the paddle, you'll move your pivot point a little bit higher up, and you'll increase your swing weight closer to what you get with something extended. Now, I didn't do that because I wanted to get used to this shape, but what I did do is add a bunch of weight to the sides to stabilize it and make it a little bit softer for control. You can obviously do that to any paddle, but add too much lead to an extended length paddle and you're going to make it brutally unmaneuverable and clunky. Because this is so quick to begin with, you basically have more room to add lead without making it unplayable. I got this paddle up to a spec where it had great stability and touch for dinking, but it still had fantastic hand speed, which is the standout feature of the shape. This is kind of what sets the double black diamond apart from a lot of other paddles. It's a paddle that can work for pretty much anybody. For those of you who prefer standard length paddles because of their great maneuverability and bigger sweet spots, the step up to this shape won't be so radical that you're totally lost. For those of you who require the spin and power potential of an extended length paddle, it might take you a little bit of time to get used to this, but once you do, the better maneuverability will make it so that you probably never want to go back. This shape obviously won't render extended and standard length paddles totally obsolete, but if you do want something that provides you with the best variety of shot selection, it's hard to deny that this isn't the best shape for that. And as an anecdote to you tennis players out there who are like me and extremely stubborn about trying anything that isn't an extended length paddle, the best tennis player at our store, who's also the second best pickleball player, recently switched to this shape after playing with an extended length paddle for years, so it is possible. The double black diamond is already one of the best sellers in pickleball, and I really only see it going up from here as more people try it. For now though, that is going to be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember that if you do want to demo the double black diamond, you can come visit us in store, or you can check it out online at racketsandrunners.ca.